Alright, hit the button. Yep, I did. Alright, we'll try something different. I'm going to start writing some crap for these certain premises that I establish. And see if we can just get to the agree-disagree part on the premises anyway. And maybe argue some of these premises. Because really there's no logical conversation without them. You know, if you can't agree on what you're even talking about, what words even mean, there's no point. I mean, the last two Professor Anton videos were just way back to the complete jibber, jabber, blabber, flabber. I mean, just nonsense, mushy little crap talk. I mean, I can't believe he's a communication professor and he blows up the meaning of words. You know, relationship. You know, we have a logical brain. It's a rational modeling tool. Alright, it can deal with words as symbolic representations of things. Okay, it doesn't have to worry about how many atoms are in this tweezer to call it a tweezer and understand its function in the world. But anyway, I think Graytex is playing this game too. Like, oh, there's no reality, there's just a bunch of theories, and oh, there's good theories and bad theories and blah 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 blah. And it's just completely unnecessary. We know in common conversation there are things that are the truth and things that are bullshit. And just, I mean, I see some value. I mean, I would like people to be more precise in their language. I've said this before. That I think would probably be something we should encourage in people. But that's not what he's saying. He's not worried about us having a more precise conversation. He's worried about us declaring some things true, like, you're a stupid motherfucking cunt asshole. Yeah, because he doesn't want to hear that. He doesn't want to hear about people who are inefficient or dysfunctional, people who are a liability. You know, he doesn't want to hear the truth of value equations because he knows that those equations all equal you fucking suck, and that's the bottom line. It's really hard not to suck, being a living thing, you know, on planet Cannibal. So anyway, I will post in the description this text, this here text. And it just has to establish the premise at first, and then just some small talk related to it that came to mind, and I will discuss that stuff. But first, this was a pretty good video, this purpose delusion video, and the comments are just absolute crap. And there are these two assholes, okay? So first, this AEV automatic guy. Alright, I hate this shit, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fucking comments. Six fucking comments. Now, why should you be this important to me? Why should I have to read your comments? I can't force my videos into your face. Why should you do this on my video? Why? Why are you so fucking important? And look at this one in the comments. I gotta be honest, I don't know what you want me to say. I understand the reality, but I'm not willing to let it go. Well, guess what? That's not an argument. It's not anything. Okay, that's just, I might as well just say fuck you, right? So you just said fuck you on the goddamn video. You didn't say anything there. You didn't make an argument. It's useless babble and mush. And everything else you said here is useless babble and mush. So either do better or I'm blocking you, okay? Fuck this shit. Why should I put up with this crap, this jibber jabber? You know, and then this other asshole. So yeah, there's only two guys commenting on the whole video. There's no other comments but these two assholes. So this motherfucker, mind spasm or whatever he is, Prism. All this Professor Anton jibber jabber crap, you know, if we assume a life that has equal good and bad parts, well, why would I assume that in the first place, idiot? Except it has one iota more of good than bad. Does that life become worth living? Well, I guess if that's the premise, but your whole premise is wrong, because my argument is that there's no such thing as good. There's only absence of bad. So there, it fails. Alright, I've made enough videos on this shit not to have to repeat this crap. Alright, so you either watch my videos, then you can make all these fucking comments. But if you're going to make comment after comment, okay, how many we got? 1, 2. These are all his too. 3, 4. Boo Boo made 1 comment and he made 6 or 7 to her 1. You know, 8, 9, 10. You know, fuck you. Fuck you. I'll make a video. I mean, this, you know, comments. This is like the worst video on YouTube. Okay, a comment. And when they're shittily written, fucking not thoughtful, not necessarily even coherent. And if it's a Piro comment, yeah, it'll be completely incoherent because he'll leave out the word to or want or some other fucking word that's rather important to the fucking sentence. So yeah, fuck this bullshit. So yeah, more considerate, more pointed comments on one subject, please, at a time, fucker. Or fuck you. Just fuck off. I'm not writing you. I'm not tutoring you personally, you jackass. And so, like I said, if you're going to do it in my fucking goddamn face, you know, when I'm allowed to shove my videos down your throat, then this kind of crap will be okay. But until then, fuck you. Exercise a little bit of discipline. Have a little bit of respect. Or fuck you. Alright, enough of a commentary. On with the regular scheduled video. Alright, so the first premise. And I'm just going to do these. These are not in order of priority. Alright, they're just in the order that I'm going to do them. So this one's labeled number 1. So you either post a comment saying agree or disagree, strongly, weakly, I don't care. Say what you want to say. But yeah, make it concise and to the point and relevant. I don't want to believe it. Well, fuck that. Number 1, sentience is the only value commodity in all of reality. Everything else derives its value for how it can affect or will impact the net welfare of all sentience to ever exist. So the bottom line point is that you live your life, you're like a little domino or whatever, you affect these other little dominoes, you cascade a few, and you impact them in positive or negative ways in total. Like in the end, you killed so many people, or you orgasmed so many people, or you fed so many people, or you comforted so many people, or you did some opposite negative style type thing. So you either comforted or discomforted in a net impact way. And for most of us, it's probably not that difficult to calculate because our domino impact doesn't hit one of the big dominoes. So you can sort of look at your life like there's all little sizes of domino. We're all just a little domino. And we have this circle of influence where the little dominoes hit. And then there's big dominoes, like World War II, or presidential election, or some other thing, and that's a big domino. And then there's really huge dominoes, like evolution and, you know, the creation of a thinking mind and all this other kind of crap. So you have these levels or scales of domino impact. And you as one little domino could theoretically cascade a bunch of little dominoes, hit just the right ones, they knock over a bigger domino, that domino cascades into a bunch of other little dominoes, and it cascades into a bunch of other dominoes, you know, bigger and bigger and bigger, and it actually knocks over the biggest domino in the universe kind of thing. So yeah, theoretically you can have this butterfly effect where it just cycles out until, wow, you were really important. But most of us realistically know we're going to have a limited sphere of influence in a little small pool, and that pool will maybe affect lakes, but it's only going to affect them if it hits at just the right time. It has to be the last little few extra gallons of floodwater that break the dike kind of thing. So yeah, you can almost think about it that way, like a dam. And the dam breaks when there's just enough water, just enough pressure, and just one more little drop will make the difference kind of thing. But usually it takes a little more than just a drop. So yes, you were one drop in a puddle, and that puddle, because of that extra drop, leaked into the floodwaters and broke the dam, that kind of thing. And if you didn't drop, then the dam wouldn't have broke. But anyway, most of us ain't going to break any dams. But yeah, it's our net impact is the game. Alright, it's not today's impact or yesterday's impact, or no, it's your whole existence will be the decider of whether you had a good life or a bad life is going to be decided by that impact, plus how you yourself experienced your life, how much you got out of it, or how much you paid for it. But that's the game. It's all about what we feel. Are we comfortable or are we uncomfortable? That's the game. All intelligence is devoted to creating comfort, more comfort than discomfort, in theory. I mean, when intelligence is applied usefully and constructively, that's what it does. It cures a disease, or it creates a more efficient way to get from here to there, or it does some other thing that creates more comfort. And every bit of everything else is all made out of money is comfort. Everything's comfort in some way. It has to, or discomfort, and that's how we decide its value, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, whether it's worth $10 or $100. In theory, obviously, our value equations get completely fucked up. We end up having silly, preposterously expensive funerals for 3,000 people when we watch 50,000 other people get run over on the street and not even give a shit. It's because we're asshole, hypocrite, fucktards. But anyway, alright, so what I said under that was harm, which is pain and misery. I'm not talking about harm like, oh, I killed a couple of my hand cells. Oh, I killed a few more. Yeah, that's harm, but it isn't like, ow, 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 ow. So I'm talking about harm in the sense of the misery, suffering, negative sensation sense of the word harm. Obviously, some harms, some breakages, if I broke my liver or something, it would be painful on top of being damaging to my structure. It might have a very long-term negative impact on my comfort if my leg got amputated. So yes, I'm not saying harms in terms of physical destructions or changes aren't bad. I'm just saying what makes them bad is how much suffering or misery or discomfort they cause us over the period of our existence. How much they harm our productivity, our ability to help others, to create comfort in the world. That's how the harm is decided. Not because I limp, but because the limp degrades the quality of my life or degrades somebody else's. Let's see. Yeah, harm, so I'm going to finish the sentence. Pain and misery has the vast substance of the weight value. So I've sort of made this argument before, but this is part of the argument is that if I really could commoditize, if I could put a money weight on it, you would sacrifice a ton of your silly, trivial pleasures. You would sacrifice a ton of hamburgers and nights out at the theater or movie watching or some other little things that don't make you necessary, don't save you from horrible misery, but just kind of elevate your state of comfort. You would sacrifice many of those pleasures if you could stop somebody else from suffering. You might certainly do it for yourself too. If you could prevent yourself, make yourself immune to cancer, you'd likely pay a very high price for that. Desire and fear are illusions of perception and offer no credible definition of true value. Yes, what we desire, what kind of food we want to eat, or what kind of sex we want to have, or what kind of movies we like, or what kind of fantasies we indulge in, those definitions of value, what's cute, are just nonsense. They're conditioned and they're biologically pre-wired. They have no credibility. They're not intelligently designed standards. They're idiot standards. They're stupid standards. They're circumstantial standards. They have no meaning. So when you say, I would pay $10 for that tuna sushi, it's a stupid value equation. It's only in your head. It's a delusion of that individual's perception of value. And somebody else could say, I like to eat a bowl of rice just as much as he likes tuna sushi. Or I'd rather have somebody stick a nail in my head than eat that shit. But anyway, it's just crap, okay? I mean, fear and desire are crap. They're just crap. As definitions of value. Reoccurring desires like hunger and sex drive have no parallel fear opposite. So the point is here is that we have these attractions that reoccur in us. Like every day we get hungry. Every day, for some of us, every 45 minutes or so. Yeah, we, thoughts of sex or interaction or love or some of that flies through our brain and kind of gets our eyes moving in some direction. Where fear doesn't really have that component. There's no reoccurring fear that crops up every day and has the same kind of mechanism where you've got to feed it, that you've got to somehow comfort that fear every single day. So when people kind of try to compare these emotions and call them dualities or yin and yang or some other kind of crap, it's crap. They're not opposites. They're not a duality. They're different. They're different things, and they function different to the biological mechanism of our sentience. All right, attraction may well be the absence of repulsion. So this is how it goes to not only the universe, but for us and how we've been designed through evolution of this DNA molecule. The motivator is attraction and repulsion. I mean, get to the food, to do the consuming, to do the reproducing, to do the cannibalizing and the addicting. But yeah, that's the game, attraction and repulsion. Stay away from the thing that'll kill you or eat you, and be attracted and good at grabbing the stuff that you can feed on. And that's how the mechanism works. And I'm going to argue that this may be, in a draft science kind of way, that it's an illusion. that the only real force that exists is repulsion. And if there is nothing repelling objects, that they will automatically collapse into each other. That there is attraction, and all that stops us from being attracted is something repulsive, something negative. That there's, and again, the negative force is the only force, and that it is an illusion of our perspective that makes us think there's something to be gained. So, you know, if 0 is here, and you're at negative, I guess it's over here, I'm not sure, you know, 20, yeah, negative 10 looks like it's progress. It's forward movement. It seems like it's a plus, and it is from where you are, but it isn't in any absolute. And that's what the mechanical system is doing to you. That's what the DNA has done to you. It has acclimated you to deprivation. It has acclimated you to a negative state of being, and you derive your pleasure through the release of that. So that's really the next statement, which is pleasure may well be the absence of misery. And I think I can argue this pretty well, that you gain this ego gratification, pleasurable sensations and feelings because some threat to your status has been eliminated. You succeeded at doing something. You now have some superpowers. You know, you took an underdog energy pill kind of thing because you had a victory. It's given you confidence, given you power. You take some cocaine, very much the same kind of effect. It does this ego boost, this I'm in control. I'm in sync with the universe. I can manipulate the forces with me. Those kind of sensations fill your psychology. And what they are is the removal of the negative sense of I'm a failure, I'm an asshole, I suck. It's the getting rid of the negative that gives you the sensation of positive. But all you're doing is releasing your negative. That's what you're doing when you're experiencing comfort or pleasure, is you're releasing physical negatives and psychological negatives. Alright, so then I just listed some common pleasures, and you know, when you try to list them, it all sounds like mush. Yeah, okay, we like to be hungry and satisfy the hunger. Yeah, hard to argue with that one, except that it is just a preoccupation. It's a psychological phenomenon. It's injected into you, so it is just clearly an addiction. You know, there's no rational force there. It's a sensitive, sensation-based, and it makes you need it. And if it gets too strong, it is irritating and unpleasant and tedious and uncomfortable. But what we're consuming is, you know, food, and then there's beauty. So I kind of put that in the same category as a replacement word for sex. But it's just sort of related in a way. You want to consume this moment of ownership, of capturing, of being one with, and all this other metaphorical crap. But it is a fantasy. It is that there is a narrative running in your head that has to do with this ego gratification. It has to do with your position and your authority and your strength and your power. So again, that's part of why you're deriving the pleasure. The pleasure is being made by manipulating your sense of being, of who you are and what you are. All right, contemplation, imagination, fantasy. You know, again, we spend some time reading books or watching a movie or seeing somebody do something really nice, and it just gives you a moment of contemplation or where you're pleased. But again, it's a narrative story. That's why it feels good. It's because there is a narrative tied to it, and in that narrative, ego positions are improved when your friends gain power, or when your things you associate with yourself gain victory. These give you an ego boost. When you see somebody else just like you win, that gives you confidence. It gives you hope. These are psychological mechanisms that release you from negative sensation, negative ego deprivations. Alright, so ego gratifications, victories over ugliness, evil, bad, meeting expectations, victory over impediment. That's pretty much it. Victory over impediment. I mean, we are built to be prepared to fight in a world. That's how the DNA has created us. And so we can perceive the impediments ahead of time. We can know they're in the world. And so anything that makes it possible for us to see a way through, you know, a way to outfox the fox, a way to get around, to get, you know, when we see the field open up, this is a gratifying feeling, like a football player sees the other guys push everybody else out of the way, and he sees this opening he can run through. He has this moment of, I can do this, and it's probably a good feeling. And especially when you successfully run through your model, when you have the model and it opens up and it happens and it's just like how you modeled it, there's that gratification. It just reminded me of a Star Trek movie, where that stupid crazy guy is making the machine to steal the Live Forever Force or whatever. And he has this thing where he has the simulation running of the thing, and it's like he's all happy because the simulation is so perfect. And yeah, I mean, it's just that sense, like when things are happening the way your narrative wants them to happen, again, you get this boost, you get this sense of relief, because now all these tensions and these sense of fear and foreboding and worry are you're released of them, and now you're free. Okay, so ego status, feeling good about one's strategic position in a naturally competitive artifact. So yeah, this whole ego thing, we got it because we existed in a competitive environment, not only within our families or our social group, but within this natural environment. And so we had a position. We needed to be competitive, and being competitive is understanding strategy and understanding what the other players are doing, what the other pieces are moving, and you gain power and authority through your victories, through conquering, through managing, through gaining. And if you're able to do that, your strategic position improves. You get on top of the hill and you can see down on it, and now it's easier to control and it's easier to map your way through. All these things, all these ways of gaining advantage, and it's really all about just building up your ego, building up your comfort with your position on the board, taking away the fear, the worry of cancer, the worry of this happening or that happening. You get rid of all these little worries, and all of a sudden the game is fun, because the impediments are disappearing. But if you're doing it just through delusion, then I'm going to argue you're going to fail at this first premise, which is your impact in the world is going to be shit, because all you're going to be is a selfish asshole. So anyway, long enough video. So anyway, I'll do some more of these. So that's number 1. I'll just call it something like agree or disagree. Number 1. Yeah. Alright, another series that I probably will discontinue because nobody's going to say anything useful.